Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What up, what up, what up, what is up, everybody? Welcome to your Tuesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, and we are back live. Jared, Wayno, King Meeks, I see you in the comments. Thanks for putting up with our pre-recorded show yesterday. But I got my guy, Drew Gann, live with me here today. Uncle Buck, how's it going today, man?
What up? If anybody's looking for me or wondering why I'm dressed in all black and sees the news of a bank that was robbed in Ripley, Mississippi, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So I don't know what happened. I got this cool Grind City Brewing cap. When we went there a couple weeks ago, I've been wanting to wear it. I like to wear a long sleeve shirt because I'm in the dungeon. They both happen to be black today. I'm not on the lam. I'm just comfortable, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Uncle Buck
What does
doing
it
his
mean?
best hamburglar impersonation today.
What does it mean to be on the lam?
That's a
Do
great
you know,
question.
is that an acronym or something? We were talking about news segments. Here's a news segment brought to you by ChatGPT. What does it mean? What does on the lam come from?
Yeah, I've always said it. I just don't know where it comes from.
And the reason why I'm even wondering was because I saw it like when reading something the other day, and I was always assumed it was lamb, L-A-M-B, and it was like some kind of barnyard term for a lamb that ran away or something.
Yeah.
But there's no B on the lamb. So it's obviously not the animal.
Yeah, I mean, I know we got BOLO, which is be on the lookout for, an APB, an all points bulletin. That's when you're looking for somebody. But I guess if you're the looker, like if that's the looker, but if you're the lookie, like what does it mean to be on the lamb?
Yeah. Listen, nobody really knows. This earliest roots come from the old Norse word lambja, meaning to hit or beat. So
We don't like that. We do not condone violence on the Two Buck Sports Show unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah. It doesn't really know.
That's Bluetooth is an old Norse word. Like it's like an old god. It's the symbol is like an old Norse god and a tail, and so Bluetooth, the symbol, and all that is actually like an old Norse myth or legend, which is wild as well. So
yeah, like Nike is like what, Greek or Roman or something for victory. I don't know. So
Greek. Yeah, listen,
this is America. Where's the American words?
We got hot dog. We got hamburger because hamburger, like Hamburg was like a hamburger patty was invented in Hamburg, Germany.
Right.
So the actual hamburger, putting it on a bun, lettuce, pickle, tomato, whatever you like on it, mustard, mayo for Uncle Buck, was actually invented in the United States. So I guess hamburger is ours.
I mean, listen, we've beaten them in a war twice. Whatever we want from them, we can take.
It's ours. So welcome to the show today. Yes, welcome to the show today. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. It's going to be a football-heavy show today. Wayno, get some education, hang out. We got a lot of great topics to talk about today, as there's a lot of happening in professional and college football, Drew, including a new number one for the first time in the history of the AP poll. That's our best song. Like it absolutely, it's a free song on Canva. It's the best one that I found so far. But welcome to segment number 2, where we talk football, brought to you by Grind City Brewing here in Memphis, 76 Waterworks Avenue, downtown on the river. One of the best venues in all of Memphis, as you see on Uncle Buck's hat there. Oh gosh, you're doing your best Joe Mullinex there, being right up in the camera. But we got a college football show coming this fall, Drew, live at Grind City Brewing on Saturdays. You're going to see me. You're going to see your boy Uncle Buck. You're going to see Christian Fowler. We've got Gabe Kuhn on the list. Going to be a lot of great special guests coming in, hanging out. Y'all come hang with us Saturdays this fall at Grind City Brewing.
That's right. Segment number 2. This is where I always like to make complete everybody and thank everybody for being here. We've got the usual, our norms here in the comments. Jared and Wayno and King Meeks and Edward and all of our friends are in the comments here on YouTube. And so if you're watching on X, on Bluff City Media's X page or Rusty's, just come on over and hang out with all the cool kids over here in the YouTube comments. I believe that everybody in our comment section is friends at this point. Like we spend virtually every day together for an hour. That's friendship. So
friendship.
come be a friend to King Meeks and Wayno and Jared and Edward and all the fellas.
And when you get here, give us a thumbs up. It helps move us up in the
Please.
algorithm to grow this thing. We appreciate y'all hanging out. Oftentimes, the comments in the conversation, like the conversation in the comments, is completely different than what's going on your screen here.
We can only hold your interest for so long.
I mean, that's it. So y'all come hang out. Jared did bring up, did you see this last week before we get deep off into football? The manhunt in Jackson, Tennessee. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Some dude killed like 4 or 5 members of his family in Dyer County and then fled. And they couldn't find his big manhunt. Ended up like one of Maggie's dad's best friends. He's a dentist there in Jackson. Was interviewed by the news because they captured him like right by his house. Like it was his whole thing. Apparently he was in the gang, the Vice Lords or whatever. But like it was his whole to do that we don't see very often here in sleepy West Tennessee. But Jackson, Tennessee was the mecca. I asked Maggie because Maggie's from Jackson, Tennessee. Like, what are your people doing out there, man?
Right. Yeah. I would like Kenny to just go ahead and bleep out that gang name. I don't want it to, I don't want to be affiliated at all. There's no affiliations here. Okay.
Yeah.
I would not hold up well in a retaliation, gang retaliation.
No. Yeah, exactly. So, but we are going to talk about college football to start, Drew. We got yesterday. Yeah, thank God. Moving on. We got the first AP poll of the season yesterday. The Associated Press has been the poll since 1930s. I think was the first one that was released. I saw like there was teams like Marquette and Duquesne and Yale in the original. Tulane was 16th overall.
The first ever number 1 in the Associated Press poll was Minnesota.
Yep. I saw that the other day. The Golden Gophers.
College football powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely. But we did get our first AP poll, Drew, and Texas. I was shocked by this. Texas, for the first time in the history of the Associated Press poll, is the preseason number 1 team. Drew, that's wild. Given Texas' storied history and the athletes and players they've had come through there over the years, are you shocked that this is their first time at the top of the poll?
Absolutely. I mean, I would consider them one of the blue bloods. Like, it's not even up for argument. And you think typically a team that is number 1 going into the next season is typically competed for a title or won a title the previous year. And, in our lifetime, they've won a national championship with Vince Young. They had really good teams with Colt McCoy and Jordan Shipley and those guys. And yeah, they've been really good. Have they been as good as probably they think they are? Impossible. But they've been really good. It's really shocking to me that they are the first preseason number 1. Or this is the first time they're preseason number 1 ever. And also, they are underdogs in week number 1 against Ohio State as a preseason number 1 team. Seems like if that's the case, you should have just flipped them.
You should have them third because your top 5 are Texas at 1, Penn State at number 2. And I agree with Jared in the comments here that they're going to murder Penn State when they actually play a real team and lose. But Penn State's number 2. Ohio State is number 3, your defending national champs. Darling this year, a lot of people are really high on Clemson and Cade Klubnik are 4th, and Georgia is number 5. You got Texas at 1, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 8, LSU at 9, South Carolina 13, Florida 15, Oklahoma 18, A&M 19, Ole Miss 21, and Tennessee at 24 are your SEC teams in the top 25.
Yeah, I mean, first off, as an Ole Miss fan, I'll just get this out of the way. Big difference in the coaches poll and the AP poll. They had Ole Miss at 15 in the coaches poll and 21 in the AP poll. So obviously, you should listen to the coaches. I mean, they're the ones that coach football, not the stupid writers, journalists who's never played the sport. So I was really shocked to be behind Oklahoma for one. Oklahoma, who's not going to have a quarterback because John Mateer paid his bets over Venmo. So Crazy Legs Mateer, for anybody that didn't see that, story came out yesterday. Screenshots came out of his Venmo transactions where it says
3 years ago.
What?
It was 3 years ago. One of them said sports gambling, USC versus UCLA, and the other one just says sports gambling. That's all it said.
It said sports gambling, USC versus UCLA. It's like, bro.
It's giving
what Charles Barkley once said? Don't commit crimes with checks. It's the same thing. This is today's. Do not commit
giving
sports gamblings on Venmo.
It's giving Steve Buscemi. Hello, what's up, fellow youths?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I didn't realize that was 3 years ago. Was he in high school then? Because that makes a difference.
Probably pretty close, but yeah, it was November of 2022 is the date stamps on it. And then somebody from Oklahoma got in Arch Manning's Venmo history and found some questionable things in there that we're not going to repeat on this family-oriented television show or YouTube
What did he
show.
put?
I mean, here, he put butt stuff. I got back in the
like
corner
it's being
there.
funny. Like
It is.
Pulling your friend.
It absolutely
Like,
is. One of them was like, go off queen, butt stuff, and something else is all what his were. And so it's
I mean, that's if you take that at face value, that's implying like hookers. Like, I don't think that's what this is. So,
one of these is not like the other. If you put like sports gambling in Oklahoma and everybody, they're trying to cover the tracks and say that he was not sports gambling. Like, my brother, I don't believe you. Like, I don't. Like,
Right,
not only did you put sports gambling, but in parentheses, you put a specific game. You put UCLA and USC. Like, it'd been one thing if it was just sports gambling or like Arches, just kind of being playful. But the fact that you called out a game that, by the way, happened to be played that day, my guy.
So John Mateer committed on January the 24th, 2022 to Washington State, and he enrolled June the 16th of 2022. So it could be during his freshman season.
It was. I mean, unless he would like paying back some debts from a few years ago. That was dead on his first season in college football.
Let's just go ahead and put Oklahoma behind Ole Miss in the polls.
Yeah.
Then
it was confirmed that USC and UCLA played in November of 2022. So it's like guy, like this is not only a smoking gun, but it's got the shell casings. You're holding it, and your fingerprints are all over it.
Right. Yeah. So your own video.
Yeah.
So, listen, do not, in states that you cannot legally sports gamble, pay people over Venmo for sports betting.
That's it, man.
And also, just don't bet on sports if you play in the sport. Okay.
I mean, that's it. Like,
it's
just
pretty
be smart.
simple.
A couple other little facts for you here. LSU, Oklahoma, Florida, and Mississippi State all have more games against top 25 teams on their schedule, 7. So each of them play 7 top 25 teams. Then Penn State and Indiana combined. Those two both play 3 on this list. And by the time they play some of these teams, they're not going to be in the top 25. Because as Brett McMurphy has pointed out on X and Jared here in our comments, at least one team that started the preseason unranked finishes in the top 10 on the final AP poll in 29 out of the last 31 years. So that's a pretty good running streak, Drew, of teams that are slept on early, but run through a gauntlet of a schedule. Teams that are outside the top 25 that finish in the top 10, 29 out of the last 31 years. You got anybody on your radar that could be that team this year?
Well, I don't really put anybody in the SEC. I know we think that the SEC is the best conference in football. I will listen to anybody who wants to argue the Big Ten. Fine. I think we can both agree that it's one of the two. However, I don't see a team that's unranked in the SEC. The SEC has how many teams ranked? 9 in the top 25. So I don't see Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas, any of that lot, Kentucky. I don't see them being the team that jump up into the top 10 because the SEC is so hard. So what you're looking at, in my opinion, is you're looking at a team like Indiana did last year, where you have a easy schedule in a conference that is not really the Big Ten or the Big Ten. So if I told you Texas Tech, are they ranked in the top 25?
They are 23rd.
That's a team though that I'm looking at. They spent a lot of money on a team on a team this year, millions and millions of dollars to field their roster this year. They play in the Big 12, which is weaker. Or if you look at, say, Florida State's probably ranked, I would think.
They are not. They're not ranked.
That'll be my pick then.
Okay. Yeah, they got 8 votes in the poll. So the 3, I'll give you the top 5 vote getters, and one of them is the team that I'm big on because of their schedule, just like you talked about, right? So BYU was finished 26th, essentially. So these are in order: BYU, Utah, Baylor, Louisville, Southern Cal, and then Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, we've talked about them a few times. You got Upset King at quarterback. They returned a lot of their offensive weapons. Their defense got some upgrades in the transfer portal. Drew, they play Clemson on September the 13th. And then obviously they play Georgia.
They love
at the end
beating
of the
people
year.
early in the season.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's a chance that because they've got Georgia, they play Colorado, Gardner-Webb, Clemson. Then they've got Temple, Wake, Vatech, Duke, Syracuse, NC State. Their schedule, all that to say, sets up very well that if you get an early upset over the number 2 team in the country, let's say you beat Clemson, you could theoretically, based on that schedule, go into that Georgia game on November 28th undefeated. And if you give them a game, you're in the top 10.
All right, let me make my case for Florida State then. I do think the ACC's down. Clemson's really good. We know Clemson's going to be good. Outside of Clemson, who do you think is going to be good? I don't think anybody would just lock in any team. They got the Boston College transfer, the Castellanos guy who's already talking crazy about beating Alabama week 1. So here's their schedule. I'm going to say an ACC team that goes 10-2 has a really good shot at winning the ACC. So you find me 3 losses here, okay? Alabama at home week 1. There's one. We'll call it one. East Texas A&M. Never heard of this team?
No.
Kent State at Virginia. Miami in Tallahassee. That's Carson Beck. I don't know. 50-50 shot.
They're the number 10 team.
Miami?
Miami is.
Okay. I'm still calling it 50-50. Pittsburgh in Tallahassee, at Stanford, historic ACC rivalry, at Clemson. I think that's number 2. Definite. Okay.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech at home, at NC State, and at Gainesville. So,
and Florida's the number 15 team.
So you're looking at that 2 games that you can call coin flips. One is a rivalry game that can always rivalry games can go either way.
Yeah.
And then you've got Miami at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say Florida State could be that team.
So Jared's calling out. Those are 2 good picks in the ACC because the ACC is being down. Jared is saying Missouri because of their schedule would be the SEC team, and I would agree with this. You get South Carolina, Alabama, A&M,
but they're right.
Mississippi State are your SEC home games. Your SEC road games are Auburn, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Your non-conference is Central Arkansas, Kansas, and Louisiana. Missouri, as a team, they've lost a lot with Brady Cook, but Gerard Hamilton and some of these teams are saying that they are in a much better position with his new quarterback because he has a better arm talent more than just a game manager that Brady Cook was. And so Missouri is a team that could be on the lookout, Jared. I think they're a team to watch. They actually just outside the top 5 vote getters. They were the 6th vote getter. They got 33 votes. Other teams receiving votes. The first group of 5 team that received votes was Tulane. The Green Wave down in New Orleans got 23 top 25 votes. They're a team that is trendy, that, we're not that far removed from them just going belt to behind on USC in the Cotton Bowl. Like, they're a good football team, perennial group of 5 powerhouse. They're the only group of 5 in the top 25 is Boise State at number 25. Tulane gets 23 votes. Other group of 5 teams of note, UNLV at getting 21. Toledo, known powerhouse, got 13. And James Madison and Memphis both got 9 top 25 votes.
So Missouri, sorry, I had to step away for just a second. Missouri is not ranked in the AP poll. Okay. That would be my pick as well then. Here's something. They have not named a starting quarterback yet to my knowledge. So when Ole Miss played Penn State 2 years ago in the Peach Bowl and dominated them, Drew Aller was a freshman. That's still part of the reason why I don't believe in Penn State still, because Drew Aller was no good in that game. I know people develop. Penn State still has not beaten Ohio State or Michigan. I just don't believe in them for those 2 reasons. They brought in a quarterback, and I'm going to butcher the last name, but I'm pretty sure it was like Pribula, something like that. They brought him in, and he was dynamic. And I was like, man, I hope that they don't leave him in the game, because Drew Aller couldn't complete a forward pass, but this guy was athletic. That guy's competing for the starting job at Missouri right now. And so if you told me that guy was good, I saw glimpses in that Peach Bowl 2 years ago where I was like, I kind of hope they don't bench Aller for this guy in this game, because he's dynamic. And so if you told me Missouri, I assumed they were ranked. I mean, they were really high in the coaches poll. They've won 10 games the last 2 years. I feel like they've earned the benefit of the doubt to be ranked.
Yeah. So they got 33 top 25 votes just behind Georgia Tech. Both of them have easy schedules set up. Drew, of the top 10, who do you think, because there's always a team, we just talked about Georgia Tech, Florida State, Missouri as teams that could jump to the top 10. Who in the top 10 do you think is the most likely to fall out of the top 10?
Listen, I'm always looking for teams that are like, very rarely do you see an instance like you saw with Florida State last year where they were ranked really highly. It just turns out they were terrible. DJ Uiagalelei or whatever his name was, awful. And so I'm looking at like an injury away from really being bad. So if you look at that top 10, who is it that just screams out to me? Like Carson Beck is the quarterback at Miami. He was awful. And in spurts last year for Georgia fans were happy to see him go to Miami. They kind of more or less pushed him out. So they're ranked 10. So maybe it's a cop out a little bit, but like, I just don't believe in Carson Beck that much. So,
yeah, I'm going to go with growing pains in Tuscaloosa. I don't think Alabama's going to fall out of the top 25. I like Ty Simpson, but he's not the dynamic playmaker that Alabama's used to having at quarterback. Their defense is going to be really good. They always are. They have guys that are good. I think Alabama is a team that might fall out of the top 10, maybe not necessarily top 25, though their schedule is fairly easy. Again, they open at Florida State, UL Monroe, Wisconsin comes to town. They play at Georgia, at Missouri, at South Carolina. All three of those feel like trap games. I mean, Georgia, not necessarily a trap game. They're the 5th-ranked team in the country. But South Carolina came within a cat's hair of beating Alabama last year in Tuscaloosa. So now they get them. If they flex that to a night game at Williams-Brice, I have been to a game at Williams-Brice at night when South Carolina beat Florida and got Dan Mullen fired. Drew, that is one of the most electric atmospheres in college football that I've ever seen. It is chaos in there. It's awesome. But I look for Alabama maybe to struggle in some of those games. Again, not fall out of the top 25, but I don't know that they necessarily finish in the top 10 at the end of the year.
This one's interesting because I talked about it last week on the show about the profile that was done on LSU and Garrett Nussmeier on Any Given Saturday, the documentary that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And LSU made it very clear, like, they need Garrett Nussmeier to be there. So maybe that's a good pick. And also that would make me extremely happy if LSU stunk. So maybe this is the one I'm pulling for, even though I still don't believe in Carson Beck at all.
Yeah, and I know I'm picking on Jared's guy, Ty Simpson. He's from Martin, Tennessee. Picking on your guy, Jared, but I just don't know that he's the guy that can carry. And I may be wrong. I probably gave Georgia Tech the kiss of death. I may have gave Georgia Tech the kiss of death, and now Alabama's probably going to go undefeated. But that's my pick, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, Ty Simpson was a highly recruited high school quarterback. I mean, he would probably be up there with any just recruit at quarterback that Alabama's ever gotten. He was elite prospect.
At Westview High School, he was elite. His dad was a coach, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but I think he's still the coach there at Westview. He's an amazing, like, long-standing high school football coach. Like, Tyson, the talent is there, but will it translate to an every game starter? We'll see. But Drew, FanDuel has you covered for all of your betting needs, including betting on which teams are going to go undefeated. Drew, these are the teams that are most likely to go undefeated this upcoming college season based on their schedule, based on who they are. All these are your top 10. Of the top 10, 9 of them are in the AP top 25, except for Liberty at plus 600 because they don't play a soul with a pulse. Drew, these are the teams most likely to go undefeated. Again, on FanDuel.com. Which of these teams is jumping out to you as the team that's going to get that first loss?
Well, I mean, one of them is going to get a loss in the first season because Ohio State and Texas play each other.
So that's the cop-out.
Yeah, so that is a cop-out. Pick one of those, you got a 50-50 shot. The first thing that jumped out to me when I looked at this is you've got an independent school that plays more or less an ACC schedule in Notre Dame. You got Big Ten, ACC, Big Ten, and then your first SEC team against Georgia. I hope it's not Georgia because they've got Ole Miss on their schedule. And then Texas, Alabama, Boise. Who do I think gets the first loss? I mean, I'll take Ohio State.
Yeah, I think so. How about first unexpected loss, right? Because you do have Texas and Ohio State playing early, though. Money is on Ohio State to beat Texas. Again, like you said earlier, Ohio State is the odds-on favorite in that game in Columbus. But any of these other teams that like to me, it's Clemson, because Clemson is always that team that they usually lose a game that they have absolutely no business losing. And is it Georgia Tech early in the season? Does Georgia Tech beat them in what could be a trap game again? Upset Haynes King leading that team. I'm a bit higher on Georgia Tech than I think maybe I should be. But Clemson, to me, jumps out as a team that usually loses one early, and they need it to kind of get their focus before they make a run to the ACC championship.
Yeah, Alabama plays Florida State in Tallahassee week 1. I mean, if you're looking for week 1 upsets, maybe, if old Castellanos is right, there's good money on that one.
You were at Boston College last year. Like, take a lap. Take a lap.
But he was good.
I mean, he was. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but I'm just saying take a lap. Other teams just outside of here, Miami is next at plus 900. Of note, Memphis is plus 1,400 to go undefeated. Michigan and LSU are both plus 1,200, as is Texas Tech. Texas Tech is kind of a darling, one of those teams that a lot of people are high on because they broke the bank in recruiting this year and paid for an entire brand new team. Ole Miss is tied with UNLV and SMU at plus 2,200 to go undefeated. Auburn
I'm
plus
not
2,700
calling for that to happen.
Yeah.
Here is Liberty's football schedule.
Oh,
you find the loss. They play week 1 against your beloved Maine Bears.
Shout out Black Bears.
Black Bears. They go to Jacksonville State in the great state of Alabama.
Hang on. Is it that Jacksonville State?
Yeah, that Jacksonville State.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe there.
Rich Rod is not the coach there anymore. Then they go to Bowling Green University, and then they host James Madison, the Dukes, the Old Dominion on the road, at UTEP, New Mexico State at home, Delaware at home, Missouri State at home, FIU on the road, at La Tech in Ruston, Louisiana, and then Kennesaw State at home.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, they're going to go undefeated, maul every team, and not be in the top 25.
Of all the stupid things that Hugh Freeze has done, leaving Liberty may be the dumbest.
Might be the dumbest thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Other of note, Arizona State is plus 1,500 to go undefeated, but that trip to Starkville in week 2 is going to be really rough on the Sun Devils.
Yeah, all your artificial noisemakers.
That's it. Hey, whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. Got to get advantage where you can. But Drew, that's our college football segment. Talking AP poll. We've talked about can we get guys to quit sports gambling, or if so, call it something else: pizza, cold cuts, haircut. Like, it could literally be named anything else. Why
call it butt stuff, and people would just laugh.
That's it. You're getting a good kick out of it. But why are we labeling our bets on FanDuel or on Venmo like that? Lord knows. But I do want to talk to you about some of our sponsors here. We do have an event this Saturday coming up with Ounce of Hope called Choking and Token at Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu right near the Crosstown Concourse. If you're in town this weekend, I'm going to be there. Luke Hatmaker's going to be there. I think Kenny's going to be there recording some films and B-roll. It's going to be an awesome time. Starts at 1 o'clock. Participation and consumption are not required. Just come hang out. We're going to be watching guys get folded like a cheap suit. I am not one of them. I'm going to be there just enjoying, laughing, and realizing how out of shape I truly am and avoiding injury by watching from the sideline. But y'all come out, Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu this Saturday, August 16th, starting at 1 p.m. In the meantime, this QR code takes you to ounceofhope.com. Code Bluff City gets you 15% off your first order.
Choking and Token, the Mid-South's first cannabis-themed jiu-jitsu tournament.
August 16th at Midtown Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu.
At 1 p.m. 21 plus to compete or consume.
Consumption not required.
Ounce of Hope is licensed by the state of Tennessee. This is all 100% legal hemp products. Everything's good to go.
We'll have gi divisions.
No gi divisions.
Madison bracket, guaranteeing 4 matches per division, plus an absolute winner.
Each fighter receives an Ounce of Hope gift bag, and there's prizes for every winner.
Check out the link below to sign up.
read some stuff about Gigi this week.
Uh-oh, I didn't.
No, good.
Okay, good.
Gigi talked about how he's changing his routine. He's getting up earlier in the morning and, trying to get his day started. He wants to make sure that he's like 30 minutes early to everything. And, those are little things, but those are things that, hey, if you're serious, come on, do those things.
No, that shows a level of growth because you want to create a routine. I think what it was in the past, if we're talking about it in this fashion, was there was no real routine. It was get up when you got up. You were going to get the work in, but it was whenever you got it in. Yeah, this is not a question of if he's good enough to do it. It was he going to be mature enough to allow himself to be good enough to do it. A lot of how we will be how much growth he has made.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Now, stylistically, it's kind of interesting because I think if Brendan Lewis is the starter, it's going to be completely different. If Arrington Maiden's the starter, I think you can keep some semblance of what you have been doing under Seth Hennigan because he can be more of a pocket passer. But let's say Brendan Lewis is the starter. Changes to the offense ultimately would have to come from that. He's not the pocket passer that Seth was, but he also has a different dynamic with his legs that he could bring to the table.
I think you'd have to keep things pretty close to the line of scrimmage. I think his average depth of target or average complete, it was 7.3 yards, and the year before that it was 5.6 and very limited action. You're not really looking to stretch the field. You're kind of keeping everything in front of you. We've talked a lot about Sutton Smith and Greg DeRosier and what they bring, especially as pass catchers. I think they'll have to be heavily utilized. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw both of them on the field a lot.
We talk about the difference between good and great coaches all the time. Good coaches have a system. They force you to fit that system. That system works. Great coaches take the personnel that they have and,
formulate a system off of that
around the personnel that they have.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show. It is segment number 3. We're going to talk about some NFL stuff, but I'm glad everybody is here joining us on this Tuesday edition of the show. Listen, you're getting us every day, so don't get tired of us. If you've got anything you want us to talk about, slide in our DMs, get in the comments. We are men of the people, if nothing else. So we're going to talk about NFL here in our third segment. Rusty, what you got for us?
Yeah, so ESPN released an article yesterday, Drew, talking about the teams with the best runway over the next 3 years. They call it their NFL Future Power Rankings for all 32 teams. And what they do is they polled their panel of experts, their analysts Ben Solak, Louis Riddick, Aaron Schatz, and Seth Walder, and they talk about they look at quarterback play, the situation in their coaching situation, remaining roster makeup, front office, all the works, and they graded the all 32 teams. And I have the top 10 teams according to this list compiled here for you to look at. So the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, Lions, Packers, Broncos, Texans, 49ers, and Commanders are your top 10. And in parentheses, over on FanDuel.com, is their over-under win totals for this year. So, Drew, what this is telling me is over the next 3 seasons, they looked at this upcoming season, the 26 and 27 season, the rich are only going to get richer.
Yeah, well, what sticks out to me is that this is all teams that have really good quarterbacks. Breaking news, you have to have a really good quarterback to have a really good team.
Yeah.
And with the exception of maybe the Eagles, admittedly, I don't have the highest respect for a Super Bowl winning quarterback that I probably should.
Yeah.
So, they're really high on the futures of second-year guys like Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix with the Broncos and Commanders, and C.J. Stroud, for that matter, going into his third season for the Houston Texans. So they're really high on those. But that's what I think about when I see these. And honestly, that would be one of the most important pieces of criteria that I would use to rank the next 2 or 3 seasons for any football team, as well as how good is your quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And the teams up here, we know, again, whether you like him or hate him, whatever, Jalen Hurts wins. Tush push wins. And so he's first. The Eagles are first overall. Basically, the way it worked, if you were 100 plus, it's elite. 90 to 99 is an A, just like your regular grading, right? 80 to 89 is a B, and so forth and so on. The Eagles have an overall score of 92.6, their highest rating being their overall roster minus the quarterback at 97.3, which was first in the NFL. They ranked Jalen Hurts as the 8th best quarterback in the NFL, but it averaged out with the 10th best coaching and the best front office to be a 92.6, which is the highest grade in the NFL.
I do agree that they've got the number one front office in the NFL. Howie Roseman does an incredible job. All he does is he drafts Georgia defenders in the front seven. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. That's it. And then you go poach the best receiver in the history of another franchise for basically peanuts, and you built a team.
Less than peanuts. Let's be honest. You would trade that receiver whose name Treylon Burks. You would trade Treylon Burks for an actual bag of peanuts.
I would. Give me some Cracker Jacks. Give me some Cracker Jacks. I'll do it in a heartbeat.
so less than a bag of peanuts.
Yeah. And then you go get Saquon Barkley from one of your division rivals, poaching him in free agency because they don't want to literally pay the best running back in the NFL, only for him to go absolutely nuts. And I got so much flack on our fantasy draft night when I drafted him, only for him to be the best player on what was a bad team for me this past year. But number 2 being the Baltimore Ravens at 92.1. They've got the second best roster in the NFL, the third best quarterback, 6th best coaching staff, and second ranked front office.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah,
that's pretty solid. You know, Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh has been there for a long time. Yeah. The GM's been there for a long time. Lamar Jackson has won 2 MVPs. Probably should have won a third one last year, but Josh Allen got the beneficiary of the Lamar fatigue, I think, from the voters. And so, yeah, the Ravens will always be good, I think.
Agreed. And again, they're sitting at 11.5 on FanDuel win total. I think if I'm betting on this, I'm hammering the over on both the Ravens and the Eagles, as well as the Chiefs and the Bills. The teams, again, great quarterbacks. They've got the coaching staff, and the quarterback situation in Kansas City obviously is the best in the NFL. Right. Andy Reid is an absolute magician offensively. And then you get an absolute magician at quarterback in Pat Mahomes. And the recipe is beating your favorite team to sleep and putting up 40 points. Even with an ailing Travis Kelce, you've got Rashee Rice being healthy. Xavier Worthy had a good finish to the season last year. And then you've got your running back situation buttoned up with Isaiah Pacheco. This is a good juggernaut team sitting at 11.5 wins. Drew, I'm hammering the over on the Chiefs next year.
Yeah, but the Chiefs have been known to play with their food in the regular season a little bit. They've kind of gotten into that NBA mentality of just get us to the playoffs. They lost a couple close games, a couple clunkers. I think the Raiders have beat them even a couple times. The Raiders are terrible. I'm curious to know what they have Dan Campbell ranked on the head coach's ranking, because I love Dan Campbell.
I'm huge on Dan Campbell as well. I think he is one of the best young minds in the NFL as a head coach, former tight end, but just gets it. This is wow. So the overall roster for the Lions is 3rd. Their quarterback, Jared Goff, is 12th. Front office is 4th. Their head coach, their coaching situation is the 12th best in the NFL. 12th.
Yeah, I kind of would probably get there. I love Dan Campbell, but I think when they're talking about ranking head coaches, they're looking at their own acumen on one side of the ball. Dan Campbell excels at organizational leadership and motivation. He's the other kind of coach. He's not the former offensive coordinator. In fact, I think Dan Campbell was like a special teams guy at New Orleans. And, I don't know where he exactly excels but he's just a great leader, hires good people around him.
Yeah, and DG brings up a good point here. He just lost his OC and DG. Ben Johnson is now the head coach at Chicago. I think that is going to hurt a lot because he is such a dynamic offensive mind.
And their DC is the head coach for the New York Jets.
Yeah. So of the top 5 up there, you've got MVP candidates on FanDuel, the AP NFL regular season MVP. You've got Lamar Jackson as the odds-on favorite from the second best team there at plus 430. Josh Allen plus 600. Joe Burrow, not on the list, the Cincinnati Bengals, plus 600. Pat Mahomes plus 650, and then it goes astronomical. Jaden Daniels is plus 1,000, and then Justin Herbert plus 2,000 are your top 6 MVP candidates.
So I can't gamble. I can't sports gamble unless I cross the state line into Tennessee because Mississippi has not legalized it. But I would like to play some $5 bets on long shot odds. And when I was thinking long shot odds, I want to know what the highest ranked defense or lowest odds on defensive players are. I'm assuming it's like TJ Watt or Micah Parsons. What is the shortest odds on a defensive player?
Micah Parsons is the first defensive player behind guys like Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Jay Jettas, Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Justin Fields, CMC, Russell Wilson, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Nico Collins, and CeeDee Lamb are all tied at plus 20,000.
20,000? You sure you're not getting?
No, 20,000, 20,000.
So yeah, put a $5 bet on or put a $10 bet so the math does good. Put a $10 bet on Micah Parsons and you win $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah. I mean, I also like that for Myles Garrett. That's also not a bad pick. He just got paid. He gets a ton of sacks. He gets a ton of leg work. I like those odds. The first non-quarterback is, so we got quarterbacks all the way down.
Let me guess. It's a receiver. Jamar Chase.
No, Jamar Chase is plus 12,000, tied with Jamar Gibbs and Justin Jefferson. That's your first receivers. The first non-quarterback is a running back.
Okay, a running back. Derrick Henry.
Plus 13,000 now.
Okay, so let me just think here. I'm gonna.
I did, Jared.
You gotta
I did
think
say
somebody,
Russell Wilson a bit ago.
Yeah, it's somebody that's going to be dynamic, obviously, and I'm thinking not necessarily just rushing yards either. And it's obvious. It's
obvious. I mean, we just talked about this man a few minutes ago. His team is represented at the top of the list on your screen. It's Saquon at plus 6,000.
Yeah.
Tied with Kyler Murray, or tied with Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Drake May, and Tua at plus 6,000.
Okay.
I mean, you're right. It's dynamic. Like Saquon is dynamic, right? You got the reverse hurdle. First time that's literally ever been seen in the history of mankind. It was one of the most incredible football plays I've ever seen. Madden cover artist. Like Saquon is the best candidate non-quarterback to win, and I don't disagree with that at all. I mean, Saquon is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I don't want the odds though.
No. So the team, Jared's right. The Madden curse. For those of you who don't know, Wayno,
when has
Maggie,
Saquon done it twice in a row?
Yeah, but like the Madden curse is a real thing. Look up the history of being on the cover of the Madden NFL football game, and then what happens in the next season. You get hurt, your team's terrible, you get arrested, like things happen. It's just the Madden curse is a real thing. All right, so what everybody wants to know, though, are the bottom 5 teams on this Power Future rankings. And
please give me the Saints. I'm all in on 0-18.
So there are 2 teams that you have cheered for in the history of your professional career, right? The New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants by extension of Eli Manning. Well, the worst team with an overall score of 63, being next to last in both overall roster and coaching, is the New Orleans Saints. Follow right on the heels by about 4 points of the New York Giants, who have the next to last worst front office at 67.4, coming in at 31. 30 is
just
the Carolina
to make
Panthers.
Comments on those real quick. There is no worse general manager in sports than the one that happens to be at the New Orleans Saints. They overpaid the wrong people every time. They went on a dang New York Knicks / University of Tennessee football level coaching search and landed on Kellen Moore, who is just uninspiring altogether. They are literally at the bottom of. This is the first time since I've been a Saints fan. And I know there was my dad's generation cheered for the Aints, where they came with the bags over their head. Like there was the Cleveland Browns before the Cleveland Browns were around. Okay. This is what I hope the Saints are doing this time. They've just been 7-11 or 9-8, like just awful in the worst middle of the road that you can be at. Not even competing for the division, not competing for the playoffs,
in a bad division,
not being the number 1 pick either. So It's just I want them to suck. I want them to suck. Go get Arch, try to do it. But honestly, like you think of the New Orleans Saints, and I think there's some parallels with the old grit and grind Grizzlies. Like you took a shot on the right players. You took a shot on Drew Brees and he changed your franchise. Like the Grizzlies took a shot on Zach Randolph in the middle of his career. Like you've not done it yourselves. You have not been the smart team ever.
Yeah.
Okay. You've gotten lucky.
Yeah.
So here's to just doing the smart thing finally and going 0-18.
Well, right now, if you think the Saints are going to go 0-18 and get under 1.5 wins, the odds are minus 1,600.
What?
Minus 1,600 on FanDuel to get over. Sorry, that's over.
Oh, I was about to say that's extra level garbage.
Under 1.5. They had it messed. The order messed me up. Over 1.5 is minus 1,600. Under 1.5 is plus 800. You could actually make some money there. Throw a 5 or a 10 on it and make you $800, $80.
Even the Tennessee Titans won a couple games last year.
Yeah. so the money
it's really hard to go over.
The money flips at 3.5. 4 wins is kind of where it flips. So under 4.5 is plus 110. Over 5.5 is plus 140. So right around that 5-win mark is where the money flips. But yeah, a tough look for the New Orleans Saints. Again, right behind the Giants. The Carolina Panthers are 30th at 69.3. The Jets at 69.4. 28 is the Atlanta Falcons at 70.5. The Indianapolis Colts, whose future rests on the fragile hand of Anthony Richardson and the fragile mind that is Daniel Jones. Like, it's bad and then worse. Like, what are you going to pick? Are 27th at 70.6. The Cleveland Browns are at 26. And the Tennessee Titans at 25th at 72.1. The reason for hope, obviously, being Cam Ward. Reason for concern is just the turmoil that the franchise general manager. Thankfully, John Robinson is gone. We're just turning through those though left and right. We've already fired another one. So the Tennessee Titans at 72.1 overall. Their quarterback situation is ranked 15th, which is kind of like dead middle of the pack. So there is some bright spots there, but it doesn't look like tide's turning anytime soon, according to ESPN, for the Tennessee Titans.
And you said the Saints were dead last?
Dead last.
Okay. I totally agree.
Pittsburgh's 22. Some other teams of note. New Orleans or the New England
Pittsburgh's
Patriots.
too low. Pittsburgh's too low. I don't care. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He will take
Number 8.
the worst roster in the world and go 8-8 with it, which maybe I guess that does counteract the GM there. What's their GM ranked?
Their GM is their front office is 13th. Their head coach is 8th.
And they're 22nd?
Because their quarterback is 30. Their quarterback is 31st, and their overall roster is 23rd.
Okay.
So, I mean, they do have T.J. Watt. I did talk about this morning on the Daily Grind about Jack Sawyer is going to be a really good outside linebacker for them. He is a T.J. Watt prototype and in a great situation because T.J. Watt's going to get all the attention. They did add your boy DK, but it's Aaron Rodgers who might be showing up high off mushrooms at every game, and you just never know what you're going to get with him. He's also advanced age. He played literally for like 6 minutes for the Jets before popping his Achilles a couple of years ago. You just never know what they're going to be. But I agree. As long as Mike Tomlin is there, they're going to be an above-average team. The New England Patriots, the fall from grace continues. They're tied for 18th with the Chicago Bears. They have coaching at 15th, quarterback. They have Caleb Williams in the quarterback room at 18th overall.
Not Caleb Williams. No, not Caleb Williams. Not at New England.
I said New England, and then they're tied with the Bears. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
They're tied with the Bears.
Drake May at New England, and then they're trying another Belichick assistant, when Braves being
We're
in
just
New England.
checking them off, which Braves is, I mean, if anybody can do it, it's Braves. Tough nose. He was just in a bad situation in Tennessee. I think that's going to come back and bite us in the butt.
General manager got in his way.
Absolutely. Watch it. Like, we were all Braves that night when John Robinson made that trade. We just surrender Cobra and walk out of the room. We were all Braves that night. But that's going to do it for our $2 Sports Show on this Tuesday. Thank you, Wayno, for being here for a brief amount of time. I hope you went to bed because I know NFL football is not quite your thing. Jared, King Meeks, Edward, Jalen, everybody that was in the comments, appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. We will be back tomorrow talking NBA, talking NFL. We're going to start doing some fantasy football segments as well because we're both big fantasy football junkies. that's right around the corner. We have our draft either on August 23rd, August 31st. What's the latest on that, Drew? Do we know?
Yeah, so our gracious host is going to be out of town for us to do our typical Labor Day weekend Sunday night draft at his house. So we're moving it up a week. It'll either be the 23rd or the 24th, being Saturday or Sunday. The 23rd kind of stinks, though, although it's easier for guys to traveling on Saturday because I have a baseball tournament with my son. We're also going to be at Grind City Brewing Company that day. So we're just going to have to work out some logistics. Ultimately, we'll land on wherever gets everybody in town because it is important for an in-person live draft, totally offline. It's magic. It's the
tradition.
Best night of the year. And so
it's so much fun.
As a commissioner of the people, I will always try to do whatever can get everybody there.
I mean, I literally came in from South Carolina for this thing. Like it's a legit thing, but y'all be good. Go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. And remember, there are no refunds for what you heard today.
That's right. Because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. And we will see you again tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.